Hey guys, welcome back to Kills and the PSG nil, Bayern Munich 1. And yeah, of course, then Bayern Munich have got the advantage over PSG, beating them in Bayern's away leg as well. PSG are at home and Bayern go away to PSG and beat them, so they've now got a massive advantage going to that home leg at the Allianz in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, that's absolutely huge for Bayern going into the Allianz with a 1-0 lead over PSG. A lot of confidence, of course, as well. I mean, PSG is still more than capable of being able to turn it around. We know, we know how good they can be on their day. I mean, I think that's like three straight defeats for them now, or something. It's not looking overly too good for it's not looking too good for PSG at this moment in time. And there's a lot of their fans at this moment in time for PSG. A lot of them are complaining about what is going on in their club at this moment in time. And they're obviously top of league, but that's to be expected. PSG always expected to be top of league and to be winning league, and so that is to be expected. But PSG, they're going to want to go on and they're going to want to win competitions like the Champions League to prove how much of a big giant they are in European football. And I wouldn't say it's been a struggle for PSG, because it's not like they're doing absolutely awful, is it? Let's be real here. Like, PSG are still top of league, and they got some solid players and still look like a solid side at times. But today in that Bayern game, from what we saw, PSG were not at the blade races at all and did not turn up. To be fair, they did not turn up. It was mostly all Bayern's game throughout, and it is clearly a very disappointing performance from PSG. And I think they've got a lot to work on going to the Allianz, where it's going to be even playing more harder than it was tonight for PSG. So PSG have got a real task on their hand, in my opinion, going to their away leg, which they've got against Bayern at the Allianz. So it's gonna be a tough night for PSG. And I do think that Bayern will probably, in my opinion, go on and beat them 3-0 or something like that, because PSG, they need to up the game. They've not been playing well recently, so there's no reason why Bayern shouldn't go there and give them a good beating. So yeah, let's be honest here. Bayern should win that game. Bayern should win that game. To be fair, obviously Pavard getting sent off late on as well. Just remember that Pavard got sent off late on in that game. I mean, Pavard could be a bit of a miss, to be fair, for the home leg. But I'm sure Bayern would be all right, to be fair. I mean, obviously Pavard is a really important player to that Bayern Munich defense. He's a very important player, very great leader in that Bayern team. I mean, but yeah, just all round though, Bayern seem like a real hard team to beat, really. To be fair, although Bayern have been dropping points recently in the Bundesliga, but it hasn't been as incredibly poor as PSG have been. But if you just look at this team, though, that Bayern have got Sommer in goal. Obviously, Neuer broke his leg, so he's unable to play at the moment. So Sommer, Pavard, Upamecano, De Ligt, Cancelo, Kimmich, Goretzka, Koeman, Sane, Malaysia, and obviously Choupo-Moting up front. I mean, just if you just look at that team, if you just look at that team that they've got, Bayern, it's solid. And I do think Bayern are going to be able to cause a lot of teams issues in the Champions League as they go on. I don't think they'll win it. I can't see Bayern Munich winning the Champions League. I mean, don't count out yet. Like, they're not officially through yet, though. I mean, they still need to beat PSG in 2 weeks' time at the Allianz, which, they most likely will do. but yeah, we'll have to see. It's still all to play for. It's only a 1-0 win, so PSG are still very much in it. I mean, even though it's always hard whenever you go to the Allianz, though, and yeah, I don't expect PSG to beat them at the Allianz. I expect Bayern to go through. And in my opinion, if PSG were to try and get something over Bayern, it ideally would have been tonight, really, where they had that home ground advantage and all. And that's the thing. But at this moment in time, PSG, like some of the players' heads just they don't really seem to be in that game. I mean, you've got Mbappe traveling around the world at times, and he wasn't even playing today. Um, uh, well, he wasn't starting. I mean, he was brought on. I just double checked. He was brought on. But yeah, it looks like his mind's kind of on other things at the moment, to be fair. I mean, a lot of them are. I mean, yeah, PSG don't really look right. I mean, if you look at this team, they got Donnarumma, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Ramos, Mendes, Emery, Verratti, Danilo, Soila, Messi, and Neymar. I mean, if you look at that, that's a very solid team. It's a very solid team, but this season, I mean, I think in these European competitions, I mean, in the Champions League, I mean, I just don't think it's gonna work out for them too much, to be fair. I mean, I just can't see them getting through Bayern, and they've been struggling a lot recently in Ligue 1. So, they've got a lot of improvements to work on. PSG going into that second leg against Bayern, which is the away leg for them. They've definitely got to play lots of work on. But it's definitely still winnable. Mbappe needs to get his head fully focused into the game, of course. And I mean, they've got a lot of things to work on. They've got a lot of play things they need to work on, in my opinion, PSG to be able to go on and win. But yeah, make sure you guys, of course, smash the subscribe button and drop a like on the stream. It would, of course, mean a lot if you could. Yes, that would be good if you could. But yeah, honestly, I can't see. But yeah, as I say, honestly, I can't see PSG win that away leg as well. But yeah, Kingsley Coman with the goal for Bayern today. And yeah, it was coming all game. I mean, I think Choupo-Moting hit the post at a point in that game, and yeah, I think it was coming all game. I was surprised that Bayern weren't 1 or 2-0 up going to half time. To be fair, I mean, they were that dominant in that first half, and PSG really could not create much at all. And throughout that game, PSG couldn't really create any good solid chance. To be fair, let's have a look at these match stats. Let's read out these match stats real quick then. So PSG 46% possession. I mean, you wouldn't really expect that, to be fair. I mean, and then 54% for Bayern. And then 9 shots for PSG, 4 on target. 18 shots for Bayern, 7 on target. 4 corners to PSG, 5 to Bayern. 8 fouls to PSG, 18 to Bayern. I mean, yeah, honestly, yeah, I don't really think the stats say at all, really. I mean, it was mostly all Bayern's game, really, and PSG struggled throughout the game to, really get in control. And, Bayern were basically in control of that game for the whole game, really. They didn't really let PSG get into it whatsoever. And, that was and yeah, we saw some really positive signs in that game from Bayern Munich. And I think it shows that, and it just simply showed that PSG have got a lot to work on going into that second leg. And from a neutral perspective, I can't see PSG coming away with a win. To be fair, I mean, good luck to them. It definitely will be interesting to see what happens in that game, of course. But yeah, in my opinion, I can't see PSG winning that one, to be fair, though. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the second leg. I'm sure it will be a good game, of course. I'm sure it will be. It's been very interesting ever since, obviously, Cancelo has, of course, joined. It's been interesting ever since, of course, Cancelo has came and joined Bayern Munich, of course. Obviously, a real interesting player that you've got there, of course. Cancelo, and it's definitely a great addition, in my opinion, to that PSG side. In my opinion, it's definitely, in my opinion, one great addition. That is gonna definitely really help them out throughout the course of the season. So I think I honestly think that Cancelo is a really important signing and a very good signing for Bayern Munich to keep for the rest of the season. And then I don't know. I mean, could Bayern possibly get Cancelo on a full-time deal? I mean, on a permanent deal? I'm not 100% sure about that one, to be fair. Probably not. I don't think City are really going to want to risk letting Cancelo go on a permanent deal. But with the whole situation going on with Manchester City at the moment, could Cancelo force that move to stay at Bayern? And, if Bayern can win the Champions League this year, then, Cancelo could possibly, that could possibly even force Cancelo to want to stay even more. But yeah, I honestly doubt that Bayern will win the Champions League. I can't really see it happening. I mean, it's definitely a real tough one to call this year, though. Football's been really unpredictable in a lot of leagues this year, and all around the world, football's been extremely unpredictable. This whole season, this whole 2022 to 2023 season's been really unpredictable all over the world. So I think at this moment of time, the winner of the Champions League for this year is going to be really hard to. I think it's definitely really hard to predict, in my opinion. So it's definitely hard to predict. But we will have to wait and see what happens with it all. Though. But yeah, I'm certainly looking forward. To seeing who can win it this year. I mean, we got some interesting signs in it. I mean, let's check the odds real quickly about it. Let's check the odds for the Champions League this year. So tomorrow we've got Dortmund and Chelsea. Neither of them will win it. Club Brugge versus Benfica. Neither of them will win it. Dortmund Chelsea will be an interesting game. Dortmund fairly consistent, and Chelsea, aren't great at all at the moment. Trying to look at the odds competitions. I want to find the odds to who are the favourites. Here we go. So the favourites are Manchester City are the favourites. I wouldn't have thought that. No, Manchester City aren't going to win it. Bayern are second favourites this year. Then Liverpool. Liverpool won't win it. Then Real Madrid. Then Napoli. Chelsea. No, okay. I know it's unpredictable this year. It's a very unpredictable Champions League this year, in my opinion. So it's definitely looking interesting. It's definitely looking really interesting. To be fair, who are the least favourites? Club Brugge. Yeah, they stand absolutely no chance. Tottenham won't win it. I don't know. So the teams left in the competition right now: Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Napoli, Chelsea, PSG, Benfica, Tottenham, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Porto, RB Leipzig, Frankfurt. Frankfurt and Club Brugge. So, I think it's definitely a hard one to call. It's definitely a hard one to call to say who's going to win the whole competition this year. I think once we get to the quarterfinals, I think a lot more of us will definitely have more of the idea of who we think will go on and win it this year. But until we get to the quarterfinals, I'm pretty unsure on who I do think will win the Champions League this year, to be fair. But yeah, as I said, football's been very unpredictable this whole season in literally all blade competitions. So it's very intriguing to see who is going to go on and win these competitions. But I think for PSG, it's going to be really hard to turn around. AC Milan beat Tottenham earlier on in the night, of course, an early goal winning it, and AC Milan really, let's be real, comfortably cruising to victory, to be fair. I didn't watch this game, so I can't really do player ratings on it. Let's have a look at the stats, though. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really seem like the most entertaining game if you look at the stats, to be fair. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's looking poor from Tottenham, but again, I mean, yeah, I assume they would have gone in and played really, really, really defensive because obviously, they wouldn't have wanted to get absolutely battered. But in the home leg against AC Milan, it's gonna be interesting for Tottenham to see what they can do because AC Milan aren't great to be fair at this moment in time. AC Milan are not playing too well at all in the Serie A. It's looking I know, like they seem to be struggling quite a bit, AC Milan in Syria. I mean, I do expect. I don't know. This one's a tough one. Tottenham could pull it off. Tottenham could pull it off. It's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think 1-0 away at AC Milan. I think it's actually not a bad result for Tottenham. To be fair, so we'll have to see what Tottenham do in 2 weeks' time, and let's see how they get on. But yeah, honestly, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that that's too much of a bad result for them. I don't think Tottenham fans should be too disheartened with that. To be fair, I don't think it's too bad for them. Oh yeah, so tomorrow we got Borussia Dortmund and Chelsea. I mean, it's that one's going to be a real interesting game. Let's be honest, like that one's going to be a real interesting one. Two like proper inconsistent sides, Borussia Dortmund and Chelsea going at it. I mean, it certainly will be an interesting one. I probably will be watching Arsenal versus Manchester City instead of that one though. To be fair, but Dortmund and Chelsea, I will keep an eye because it seems like an interesting game that one. To be fair, so yeah, I am looking forward to see how the turnout of that one is. To be fair, Borussia Dortmund and Chelsea, it definitely will be tight, in my opinion. It definitely will be tight. Okay, so back onto PSG and Bayern. Let's quickly just go through some player ratings, just quick. Okay, so Donnarumma in goal can get a 6. Hakimi, probably a 6. Marquinhos 6. Ramos 6. Mendes 6. I think Emery 6. Verratti I'd give a 7. Looked all right. Delino probably a 6. Zola probably a 6. Messi didn't really do much at all today. 5, and Neymar gets a 5 as well. Yeah, Kimpembe 5, Ruiz 6, Senna 6, and Mbappe 6. Okay, so now for Bayern, Sommer gets a 7. Solid clean sheet for Sommer today. Pavard obviously getting sent off. He didn't have a bad game though. I would have gave him a 7, but got sent off, so we can get a 6. Upamecano I give a 7, and Lit I would give a 7. Solid back line. I mean, yeah, I think that Bayern Munich back line really did make PSG look fairly stupid today. Up front, to be fair, that back line of Bayern Munich looked very strong today. Fair play to them. They look very good throughout the game. Cancelo, yeah, 7. I thought he looked very solid. Kimmich, I think deserves a 7. He's always putting great performances. To be fair, Kimmich, he's always on the game, always very good. Controls that midfield fantastically, and I think he's a dream player for any team. To be fair, lots of teams out there have his eyes on him, but they lots of teams out there have their eyes on him. But he's always going to be a very difficult player to get, though. I mean, Bayern won't want to let him go, and but yeah, I know that a lot of teams out there have their eyes on him, but I can't see him moving away from Bayern. He's just too much of an important player for them. So yeah, 7 for Kim. No, I give Kimmich an 8. Kimmich gets an 8. Goretzka gets a 7. Solid in the midfield. Coman, great throughout the game, 8. Sane 6. Musiala 6. Choupo-Moting 7. Gnabry 6. And Müller 6. Gaben Birch, I can't say the name, 6. Gaben Birch, 6. Stanisic. Sorry if I can't say the name right, 6. But yeah, honestly, Bayern just looking just completely solid all round tonight, to be fair. Bayern looked absolutely rock solid throughout the game, and you know they're just a fantastic team, and you know I don't think they'll win the Champions League. I think they won't win it though. I don't think they'll win the Champions League, but you know like they stand a big chance. They could possibly get to a final. I think they'll go out in the semi-finals. Bayern, I'm not sure to who, but you know definitely a big European giants. But you know I just think that you know so far this season they might have just been that little bit too inconsistent in that Bundesliga at this moment in time. But you know, there's always a lot of time to turn things around, and you know, there's been a lot of inconsistent sides who are in the Champions League this season. I mean, Manchester City, the favourites. I honestly can't see Manchester City winning, and Manchester City are the favourites to win the whole thing. But you know, honestly, I can't see them winning it. Hopefully not anyway. But yeah, I can't see City winning it. But yeah, Bayern are second favourites. Real Madrid, I mean, you could say them. I'm not sure, like, can Real Madrid, are Real Madrid capable enough of winning it 2 years in a row? I mean, are they capable enough of winning it 2 years in a row? I mean, we'll of course play have to see with that one, but yeah, it's certainly gonna be interesting to wait and see and find out what happens with that with all that. But yeah, honestly, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I am gonna wrap it up in a sec. Guys. So yeah, tomorrow I probably should be back, hopefully, with an Arsenal and Manchester City review. So feel free to tune into that Arsenal and Manchester City review tomorrow. Looking forward to it. It should be good. And you know that game I'm really looking forward to as well. Arsenal and Manchester City. It should be a great clash in the Premier League, of course, in my opinion. Make sure you guys smash the subscribe button. Of course, if you are new to the channel. Are PSG going to be able to turn this one around going into the second leg in 2 weeks' time? I'm looking forward to see what will happen with it all. But you know, it's certainly will be a tough ask for PSG. They're not, you know, it's not too right. Their situation isn't too ideal at the moment. They've lost their last. I think this is 3 on a bounce now for PSG. Let me just double check because it's definitely 2 on the bounce in Ligue 1 that they've lost. Yeah, it is 3 in the bounce. It is 3 on the bounce that they've lost. It is 3 on the bounce. Yeah, just looking just throughout PSG, you know, inconsistent throughout the season. Mostly winning in League One, but that's what you'd expect, really. But you know, at times making hard work out of some of these games, though. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what PSG can do. I mean, you know, they're still very much in this tie. It's only 1-0, and you know they're still very much in it. We'll have to wait and see if they are capable enough of turning it all around. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace out. Peace out.